Okie doke. Okay, so I guess we'll introduce ourselves first. So hello, I am Hannah. I am the Vice President of the Pre-Health Liaison.
Hi, my name is May. I'm the president of the Pre-Health Liaison.
Hi, I'm McKinley. I'm the secretary of the Pre-Health Liaison.
And I'm Skylar, and I am the pre-dental chair of the Pre-Health Liaison.
So the first question that we have is, are there free exam resources? So up I have our Pre-Health Liaison website, and if you go to the More tab, I pressed the wrong button, but that's okay. Okay. Of course, I hit the wrong button, and now it's going to take long to load. Okay, once we get to our exam resources page, so we have a lot of different resources here for the MCAT, the GRE, the DAT, and the OAT. And all of the resources that we have here listed are free. And then usually like a simple Google search, you can get free resources. I don't know if anyone else has any recommendations.
Yeah, so for the GREs, there's a wide range of free materials available since it's so widely taken by different disciplines, especially for the GRE general exam. So I'm also going to share my screen and show you a couple of those. Okay, so can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so there is, so this is through the ETS, the GRE paper delivered GRE general test. So even though this is specifically for the paper delivered test, it has a lot of like helpful tips about content as well as free material that you could practice on. Let me just go scroll down to some of the questions that are available. Yeah, so it kind of like goes through questions and like addresses the best strategies for how to approach it. There's also another website that I found to be really helpful, the Union Test Prep. And under there, you could find practice exams as well as flashcards and study guides, discussions, even tutors. And I've never like tried the tutors one, but I believe that would cost you. But everything else is free. So that's another helpful like free resource to have. Like you could do analytical writing, quant, verbal, and just do more practice. But yeah, those are some of the free resources that I've found to be very helpful.
And I actually have one for the MCAT that I'll share. Let's see. So this is for the CAR section, the critical analysis and reasoning skills section. So there's this website called jackweston.com. And each day, if you sign up for an account, they'll put you on their mailing list and they'll send you a new CARS question to do for the day. And this one, let's see, it's called ER Visits. And the thing I like about this is that the screen is set up in a way that would look similar to the MCAT, and they basically give you a passage, a set of questions, and they time you. You can use like a highlighter if you want. You can add comments. So that's been really helpful for me with studying CARS, just because it's a section that's kind of hard to study, but doing more practice problems is really helpful.
Okay. So I don't have any, actually I could share my screen. So my best resource that I have gone through so far is, there's a Facebook page. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, everything just got all weird. There it goes. Is this Facebook page, which is called the Official DAT Destroyer. Is also including the OAT, which is for optometry. And this always has a bunch of documents that are really nice to use. They have both the 2007 and 2009 DAT that you can download and go through. And they have books that you can buy that are kind of expensive, but I've heard they're very good. And then every day they also post, oops, not that one. They also post questions that you can test yourself on. So like this is one of them that's for today. And at the end of the day, they'll go over the answer and why answers are correct and not correct, which I found really helpful to go through. So that's the one that I've used the most. So this is mainly for like the chemistry portions and biology portions of the DAT, but there's also the perceptual ability section, which I found is best to use this app on your phone called DAT Bootcamp, which is free. And it just gives you the different kinds of questions that you'll find on that section of the DAT. See if I can pull it up actually. And it'll also time you as well and tell you how to do each section and why your answers are correct and not correct. No, it's not loading. Okay.
Yeah, there are a lot of that made me think there are a lot of GRE like free apps to study for the GRE. I have like a couple. There's like a GRE flashcards one, a Pocket GRE, GRE Prep, a Magoosh GRE Prep, which also like has like math flashcards and vocabulary flashcards. And
Yeah.
I think Quizlet's also helpful too, because you can make your own or use other people's.
Another good thing to tap into is Sarah Peresky has a couple of, actually a good amount of test prep books outside of her office. So I've checked like the ETS one as well as the Kaplan one before, and I found them to be really helpful because they show like different approaches to like tackle a problem. So like, and it's a free textbook. So
yeah, I know that
borrow it
Sarah
and-
has the GRE one, the ETS GRE book that I use that I bought off of Amazon. That's super helpful. I have it up on my screen. I know that she has this one, and there's like a GRE general test, and it has like real practice tests, and it goes through each section, and then they have like specific little like practice questions book for quantitative reasoning and verbal reasoning, and I'm pretty sure she has all three of those. And I know I bought it for like $45 off of Amazon for the whole super power pack, but you can also just get it for free and rent it or like take it out from Sarah. So the next question is, what exam resources are recommended / like what exam resources are best? I mean, this is the one that I bought and I find it really helpful. ETS is the company who makes the GRE, so it's definitely trustworthy. And I find like the questions and the explanations to be super helpful. This is my main source of studying, and they also allow you to take 2 free online computer generated tests online, which I've used and are also really helpful. But yeah.
I could also talk a little bit about PrepScholar. It's I really recommend it, especially because it's really cheap. I want to say it's like $38 for a subscription for a whole year. And especially, oh, I could also bring it up here because I have an account, so I could kind of go through like how they how you're able to interact on that interface. Oh, sorry, give me just a minute. This thing is right here. Yep, so the way that PrepScholar works is you kind of set a goal for yourself at the beginning of the week, depending on your schedule. So, and then they send you like reminders. So it's especially good for those of you who like have a hard time like carving out a time to sit down. So because like it sends you constant reminders. And then the way that it's broken up is every single week you have So on this end, you have our studies and your goal. And you also get to put down your ideal test date. So if you already have signed up for a test or are thinking about signing up for a specific date, you could put it in and they kind of break down how many hours you should be studying. And then I could go over one of these. So you start a lesson and there's a video that goes along with it and then explanations. And at the very end, you do some practice. And that's how it goes for all of the sections. So everything gets like chunked out. So you get like a little bit of everything, basically. I found it to be super helpful, and especially because it's so cheap. Yeah. Yeah.
So, okay, I guess I'll talk about mine for the MCAT. Let me share my screen. So the books that I used were, or are the Princeton Review MCAT books, and there are, I think, let's see, there are 7 of them in total. I know there are a couple different brands out there. There's also the Kaplan brand, I think in the Berkeley Review. I personally chose these books just because I've used the Princeton Review in the past for AP exams, and I really like the format. I can show you right here. This is my biology book. And so each chapter starts off with like a thorough, let's see, so for chapter 3, biologically important materials, it starts out with a thorough review of all the material you would need to know for that subject. And then at the end, it will have like a couple pages of just like a summary and just condenses everything down. And then it also has a few different practice questions, all multiple choice. And it's nice because they provide the answers to them too, and they have like a nice description. So if you got it wrong, you can kind of learn why. They are a little bit on the pricier side. I think right now on Amazon, they're listing at just over 100. I think I ended up paying like 120 for mine, but they're definitely worth it. One thing I would do before you make a purchase is to go to Sarah Peresky's little space in her, right outside of her office, because she does have some different brands, and just kind of see what format you like. I know like this is what works best for me, but you might like the Kaplan books better. But just take a look at it before you buy them, because they are a big investment, but I think they're definitely worth it.
Okay, I guess I can go next. So the books that I will be planning to use are the DAT Destroyer books. They are definitely on the more expensive side, but I've heard they help you over prepare for the test and make you not feel as stressed out about them. So that's what I'm hoping to do for mine. And also because I'm used to the kind of questions that have been posted, because the same person who does this page writes those books. And so I'm used to these kinds of questions. But I know that there's also the Kaplan books have been used a lot. And then there's also DAT Bootcamp, which is separate from, it's the same people that make the app, but they also have a subscription service that you can use online, which I know is cheaper. And I know a lot of people have used that and have succeeded with that as well. So that's pretty much what I have for that. But there's also a lot of, resources online that you can look around and see what works best for you, and like for both your style of studying as well as prices that you're able to have. So yeah.
The last question is, where do I find exam resources? I feel like we kind of have gone over that throughout the video, just like our website or Amazon or Facebook or apps. I feel like there's a lot of different places to find exam resources, and even just a quick Google search will give you a lot of options. I don't know if anyone else has anything to add to that.
I do have one thing I wanted to share. It's kind of similar to how May's GRE studying worked, but it's called studyschedule.com, and it's for the MCAT. But so what you do is you input your testing books. So for mine, I had to go through and put each of the Princeton Review books in there. And then from there, you can choose how many hours per day you want to study. I had 2.5 hours. Your test date, mine was at the end of April. your desired pace and then which days you don't want to study. And it will make a schedule for you, and then you can input it into your Google Calendar, your iCalendar, and get daily reminders. So if you go here, it kind of tells me everything that I have to do. So today, it wants me to read chapter 10 and chapter 11 of the biology book, and then tomorrow to read the physics and math chapter 10. And you can also go in, leave a timeline, and you can like mark your task complete for the day, and it will like input how many hours you've been studying and all of that. And I found that really helpful because when I was trying to develop a study schedule at first, it was really overwhelming. But this kind of does it all for you. And I found it to be pretty reasonable to do. I mean, you can choose how many hours per day you want to study, but I never felt overwhelmed with how much they assigned me to do.
Also, another great source for MCAT studying is like Khan Academy. They have like different, so I could also share my screen here, but Khan Academy, they have videos that are, oh, can you see it? Okay, so they have like a section designated for MCAT studying, and that's another great free source to have. So yeah.
Awesome. And then the last thing that I wanted to share was each of the tests do have like a fee reduction program. So I know the GRE one, May, you can probably talk more about this since you know more about it than I do.
So the GRE, so what happens is you fill out a voucher form and it asks a couple of very basic questions. And along with that, you have to attach your, I want to say like it's that report that comes after you fill out your FAFSA. I want to say, is it the SAR report?
Yeah, the SAR report, yeah.
The SAR report, yep. So you attach both of them in an email and you send it over to like a designated email address, and they get back to you pretty quickly, like within the span of a week. And yeah, you get your voucher and it's 50% off. So to take the GREs, I want to say it's like $210.50 or something. But with the voucher, you are able to take it with paying $105.05. And another cool thing about that is it gives you free resources as well. It gives you kind of like $100 to use in like the ETS website. There are certain like online resources that you're able to purchase with that $100 credit. And yeah, so you could like choose free more practice tests, or you could like choose the option where you write the essays for the essay portion and send it over to them, and then they would score it and send it back to you. That's like $25. So yeah, there are like other additional resources that you're allotted with that voucher. The MCAT does have that as well. They have free resources under the voucher as well that runs through.
And I know,
MCAT.
I think for the MCAT Fee Assistance program, it's a little bit more thorough. I know you have to input more information about like yourself and your parents' income, just as a heads up.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is the DAT one that has information about it. And then this is the OAT one with information about it. And then I can include all the links that we've talked about. I can link it to the video that we'll upload. So.
Also, another thing about the GRE reduction program is, I'm not sure if it's the same for the MCATs or not, but for the GRE one, you are allowed to apply for it as many times as you want in a school year. So if you're taking the GRE, you could only take it every 21 days if you're doing it online. And so you are able to like ask for the voucher as many times as you want. And after the first time around, it gets easier to apply for it because you don't have to send them any additional information other than the form.
I think for the MCAT, it's kind of you apply once and then it is just kind of like there on your account saying like, you know, you're a part of the fee assistance program.
Sounds good. Those were all the questions. So I guess that marks the end of our video. So yeah.